The following is an exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League. On this episode of the Panthers Huddle, Coach Dave Canales talks about the roster after the first wave of cuts this week. Plus, step inside TD's film room as the Panthers legend highlights some of the guys who earned their spot on the team. Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle.
Welcome inside the Panthers Huddle. Kristen Balboni here with Panthers legend Thomas Davis. TD, the preseason is over. The regular season is right around the corner, and we have got plenty of news to talk about today.
I'm excited, y'all, to have KB back. So, can y'all see the joy in my face?
Always happy to be with you. It's always a good day when we get to stand on this set and talk Panthers. So let's get to some of the biggest news of the week. Adam Thielen traded back to the Vikings. First of all, I think we both want to say, what a special player he was here at Carolina for the last 2 seasons. The Thielen family, really great family. But we are excited for him to get to go back home and excited for these receivers to get a chance to step up in his absence. So what do you want to see from the 7 guys on this roster in Thielen's absence?
I really want to see these guys go out and implement some of the things that Adam Thielen has been able to teach them while he was here. You don't want your time as a veteran player to go for naught. You want to make sure that you had a lasting impact on the organization and on the program and the guys that were directly in your room. And I know that's one of the things that Adam Thielen absolutely prided himself on, is teaching that young group of receivers how to go out and be professionals. If you watched them during the offseason, when they all worked together, they went up and they worked out with Adam. That was one of the things that really stood out to me, because that really showed his veteran leadership and how much he meant to that room. And to give him this opportunity really to go back home and probably end his career where he started it at, I know that's something special for him and his family. But we'll forever be thankful for, the impact that he had, not only on the football team from a playing standpoint, but what he did within the organization with his foundation. Adam has definitely made a huge impact on this community.
Absolutely. And like you said, he was so instrumental in bringing those young guys along. TD, one thing I do want to point out, though, is that he missed 7 games last season. So this team, these guys, some of them that you see, David Moore, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, these guys had to step up last year when he was out, and they're certainly familiar with doing that. David Moore kind of providing that veteran presence. But then you look at these young guys that we see on this roster, they are also going to be tasked with stepping up. And T-Mac, Teteroa McMillan, he's going to come in and make a very big impact out of the gate, I believe.
Absolutely, he is. And you don't get drafted in the first round for no reason. We know how talented this kid is. As you see that catch right there, we saw him go out and do some special things. We got to watch him do some special things in practice. So this organization would never have let Adam Thielen walk if they didn't feel comfortable with the guys that we have right now. And when you look at that dynamic, you look at the numbers, and you see 12 years of playing experience combined out of 7 guys, that can be a little scary. But whenever you have a talented group like we have, you don't really have to worry as much. And I know Bryce is really getting comfortable. I know he's going to miss Adam Thielen because that was his go-to guy. But this gives him an opportunity to really focus in on some of the other guys. And I really look back to what happened with us in 2015. And I know we kind of talk about this a lot, but
we always want to talk about
we went into 2015 with the mindset that Kelvin Benjamin was going to be our number 1 receiver. And we all know that KB went down in practice, and we were devastated. We didn't know what to expect. And it's literally right around this same time, training camp, you lose your essentially number 1 receiver, and now what do? It forced Cam Newton to become a more complete quarterback. And hopefully, we'll see some of that same thing from Bryce Young as he has to distribute the ball to more guys instead of getting comfortable finding Adam Thielen all the time.
Certainly plenty of guys to distribute the ball to. We got a good group of wide receivers. Let's talk about a position now that's a little close to your heart. Let's look at the linebacker position, specifically the inside linebackers. I want to know what you expect from those 4 guys: Christian Roseboom, Claudin Sherilis, Trevin Wallace, and Bam Martin Scott.
Listen, this is a group that, They have some big shoes to fill. You know, I feel like from a linebacker standpoint, we have really set a standard that's really high around here.
Yes.
And
you think Carolina, you think of the linebackers.
Listen, absolutely. And that's, you know, that really goes all the way back to the Sam Mills days and, you know, Mark Fields. And, you know, we've always had really good linebackers and guys that can go and lead a group. Luke Kuechly did it better than anybody, in my opinion. So when you look at Trevin Wallace and you see him going through these drills right now, he's a guy, in essence, that I see taking over that room. But I'm so excited to have Christian Roseboom here that will allow Trevin Wallace to really learn from him, because Christian is a more experienced guy. He has more years. He had a really great season, 136 plus tackles with the Rams last year. And he's going to be the guy wearing the green dot, which that's going to allow Trevin to really calm the waters. He can really focus in on being that helpmate, like I was to Luke. Whenever we're communicating, you got to let everybody know what's going on. Everybody got to be on one accord. But it allows the game to slow down for Trevin. And whenever you have that opportunity to really focus in on your job, your task, what you need to do, you're going to be able to see some of the ability, the physical tools, the quick twitch, all of the playmaking ability that we knew he was capable of when he came out of Kentucky. We're going to be able to see that, because now he can just focus in on playing ball, and Roseboom will be able to be the one to making the calls. And it's going to be exciting. Now, it's going to be really exciting for me to watch the growth of this young man in that group in particular. But, I mean, there's a lot that's going into it and a lot of expectations for that group, and I think they're going to live up to it.
Well, hey, those are big words from Thomas Davis. Positive reviews for this linebacking core and what they're going to be able to do this season. Another big piece of news this week, TD, is that Taylor Moton signed a 2-year extension with the Panthers. We know just how much he means to this organization. Fans know it as well. And that feeling is definitely mutual. Take a listen to what he said earlier this offseason.
I try not to think about it. I've had some of my best years here in Carolina. I know we haven't won, but the city, being a Panther, means a lot to me. So it's crazy. You don't know. Obviously, I want the years to continue, but if it's my last year here, I want it to be my best year. I want it to be the offensive line's best year, the offensive unit's best year, team's best year. Do whatever I can to help us be our best yet. So I'm a little emotional about it.
You know, hearing him get emotional right there and how much this organization means to him. And TD, I know that you've known him from the beginning.
Absolutely. Timo, just sitting here and watching, and like I just talked to you about before we started this, KB, just watching him from when he came in and seeing him as this big, clumsy, young, excited young rookie. Listen. Timo will attest to this. He's grown so much, man, and I'm so proud of him just to watch him grow on and off the field and see the things that he's been able to accomplish and like how durable he's been able to be over the course of his career, man. It has truly been special. And for me, just knowing the person, knowing how he was when he came in and seeing the maturation process and knowing now that he has the opportunity to finish his career as a Panther through and through without ever putting on another uniform. People don't really understand how special that is for us as players. And, you know, I wanted that same opportunity. It just didn't happen or work out for me in the way that I wanted it to. But I'm so excited that Timo gets to do that, because as you saw in him talking and listening to the emotion and seeing how much it means to him to be a part of the black and blue and be a Carolina Panther, those are the guys that you want a part of your organization for their entire career.
I don't care what anybody says. You're 100% Panther in my book and
Trust
all of
me,
the
I
fans.
feel it.
And we know that for sure. All right, coming up, Thomas Davis sits down with head coach Dave Canales. You are not going to want to miss that conversation. We'll be right back after this.
This exclusive presentation of the Carolina Panthers Television Network is brought to you in part by Bank of America, the official bank of the Carolina Panthers.
All right, welcome back to the Huddle. And as you guys know, we have Coach Canales right here with us. And Coach, what are you guys looking forward to as this season gets ready to kick off? What's the one thing that you're looking forward to the most?
Well, I'm excited about the group that we've put together. Some new faces on the defensive side. a lot of young guys on the offensive side. So the recipe there is communication. How quickly can we play our brand of football, our style of football? How quickly can we sort out issues live, on the field when the coaches aren't in there? Can they take it over and communicate and get that done? And I'm excited. We got some talent, some weapons on the offensive side to see who comes through.
Yeah, Coach, we love that. And we're going to jump right into this question. I know you just talked about it in your presser, but Adam Thielen, he's no longer with the team. He's now going back home to play for Minnesota. How big of a loss do you foresee that being for this football team? Not from a football standpoint, but from a veteran leadership standpoint and what he brought to that wide receiver room.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. What he's meant for XL year one, Jalen Coker to be able to play with those guys, for the young guys to feel what it's like to win on Sundays in the NFL, the type of passion that it takes, the preparation, and at the end of the day, just go make a play. I remember Adam come and run off the field one series and he's heated, and it wasn't a very good series for us. And he was like, Coach, at the end of the day, I don't care what you call, we got to make the play. And he kind of goes over and starts talking to the guys just in his own passionate way, just kind of bringing that juice and that energy. But TD, that's what it takes to win on Sundays, man. Everybody's good. Everybody's good, but who's the one that's going to go take it and make those plays? And so that's going to be a really big piece that the guys, have to fill to kind of say, all right, we got to take this leadership now. We got to go out there and make plays.
All right, we did enough talking about the offense. Let's jump into the most important side of football, defense. I'm a little biased, as you guys know. But, Coach, our defense was a little rocky last year, and we understood that. And, we didn't put together the best numbers. And I think the offseason was a true indication of that with what Dan was able to do in free agency and what we were able to do in the draft. What are some of the things that have stood out to you the most from the new guys that we brought in?
Yeah, I think, bringing in Turk Wharton, Bobby Brown inside to play alongside of Derek, to play alongside of Ashawn, is a big thing. It all starts in the trenches, as you know. When you have a good defensive line in front of you, it's like a running back with the good offensive line. It just allows you to eat, to run sideline to sideline. I'm really excited about Trevin Wallace's growth, the strides he's taking, his leadership, the way that he's being intentional about his preparation and practice. But then we went and got Pat Jones on the edge. We got Nick Scorton, Princely, Uman Milan. These are guys that we're counting on to play a physical nature of football. That's what we needed to set heavy edges and to be able to get after the passer.
The safety position. Who stood out to you the most? Not telling us who's going to be the starter. I'm not asking you for that. But obviously we know Morick is going to be one of our starters. We can pretty much pencil him in. But there's a battle for the other side. So yeah. What are some of the things that have stood out to you about the guys vying for that position?
Yeah, I think talking about Trey really quick, he brought a physicality to our practice field. From the first time we were in pads, he meant business. If you're trying to block him as a receiver, you're getting hit. If you carry the ball through the first level of the defense, you're getting hit. If you catch the ball anywhere in his area, you're getting hit. There's a violence to his play that you would appreciate. Yes. You would love to have this guy play with you. And alongside of that, he really affected that whole group because you got a young guy like Lathan Ransom who just shows up, and he's a physical player at Ohio State, and he's like, oh, good, we can still play like this. And like, absolutely, it's totally acceptable. But Nick Scott did a fantastic job this camp. I mean, you talk about the three of those guys really capping plays off and showing up physical in the run and the pass game, And then Damani Richardson, who can do it all. We've seen what kind of range he's had. He can play the ball well when it's in flight. So that group is really interesting, which gives us some versatility to use these guys in different ways.
Coming up, TD is taking us through some hidden gems on this year's roster. He is going to be talking about some unheralded guys that earned their spot the hard way in this week's Film Room. Stay with us. Welcome back. Right now, we are going to take a look at some of the guys who really wowed in the preseason and fought their way onto this roster. And while you may not be too familiar with guys like wide receiver Bryson Tremaine, tight end James Mitchell, and cornerback Corey Thornton just yet, our very own TD is going to break down just why they are such great additions to this 53-man roster this week in TD's Film Room. TD, take it away.
Thanks, KB. And we're going to jump right into this film room. And this film room is dedicated to the hidden gems. And huge hats off to Dan Morgan, because we know the job that he did in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. I've raved about it all summer long. But also in the draft, he did a phenomenal job, in my opinion. But whenever you're able to go out and bring guys into your team from a free agency standpoint that a lot of times get looked at as being camp bodies, these guys stood out and they did a great job of making sure they secured their spot on this 53-man roster. And my first guy is going to be James Mitchell. All summer long, this guy made plays. He's a tight end. He's lined up at number 3, and the Pittsburgh Steelers on this play seem to have just forgotten where he was, or James just did a phenomenal job of getting open. Who knows? I'm going with the latter and said that he did a phenomenal job of running this route and getting open. As you can see, getting his feet down, securing this touchdown pass. I can find play after play where this guy did exactly what was asked. He contributed, and he came away with big plays time after time. So James Mitchell, hats off to you, young man, on securing your spot. Next guy, Bryson Tremaine. This guy, time after time, did what was asked. He did his job. And most importantly, you heard Coach Canales talk about it, the importance of special teams. I feel like that was where he separated himself from the rest of the receivers. He did all of the other things that they could do, but he did some other things at a very high level that Coach absolutely was looking for on the special teams side. But when you think about a special teams player, you want a guy that's tough and physical and that's not afraid of moments like this, catching the ball over the middle, being able to make a contested catch, hang on to the football. That's what he brings to this football team. And I'm excited about the toughness and the physicality that he brings to this Panthers offense. Now, y'all know I couldn't just sit and give y'all all of these offensive guys and not give you my defensive hidden gem. And that guy is none other than Corey Thornton. This guy stepped up, and he stepped up in a big way for us. And he made play after play, a lot like James Mitchell. He just kept flashing. He kept making plays. And here's one of the big plays that he made that stood out. Not afraid of the moment, being aggressive. You always want a cornerback that's not afraid to come up, be aggressive, and make tackles. We know that covering and coverage is a huge component of playing the position, but you got to be able to be physical. And I love the energy. I love the excitement. Look at how man, listen, I'm telling you, I'm excited about this young man. You don't just become a hidden gem on TD's film room without putting that work in. So hats off to these guys for the work that they put in. And I just pray that they have a healthy, successful, phenomenal season.
All right, TD, thank you so much. It is always cool to get a film breakdown of those guys, and I cannot wait to see what the three of them do in the regular season and how they contribute to this team. Coming up, there are so many games on the schedule to be excited about, but TD and I are giving you one each of our most anticipated games. Stay tuned. That's next.
Closed captioning for the Panthers Television Network is provided by Charlotte Eye, Ear, Nose, and Throat Associates, providing premier eye and ENT care to North and South Carolina.
Back here on the Huddle, TD, it is time now for our Coke Spotlight. Look, we know that every single game on this schedule is important, but what I want to know from you is what game are you circling? What's the one that you are most excited about?
The game that I'm most excited about for this Coke Spotlight, without a doubt, is the Jacksonville Jaguars game. It's the first game of the season, and to me, that's a very important game. You know, to have this team go out, start the season out the right way, build the morale, not only of the players, but of the fan base when they get the opportunity to come back and play at home. I think that's a huge game for us to be able to kick the season off and kick it off the right way. And, you know, we heard a lot about what happens when we play Jacksonville and we win that game against Jacksonville. So,
tell everybody real quick.
You guys have heard the whole saying, and hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, but I'm a firm believer in history repeating itself. So
2003, 2015, both opened up on the road.
All of those things.
At Jacksonville.
After
That's all we're going to
a
say.
losing season,
That's
after
it.
Ohio State won the championship, I'm just saying.
Yeah, like you said, we're not going to jinx anything, but things are looking good right there. All right, My most anticipated game is that Monday Night Football game against San Francisco. You know, no primetime games for this team last year. That's a big one.
Which is
TD, you
crazy.
know, exactly, 100%. So glad that this team is getting their due this year. And TD, you know what it is like better than anyone to play under those lights, and what a big national stage that will be for this team.
Listen, it's special. It just, the environment is different. The fan base is different. Like everything about a primetime Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night game, all of those games just feel different, and the atmosphere is so much better for us as players and for the fan base.
Just really quickly, does your day change? You know, these guys that are used to the 1 o'clock games?
No question. Like you literally have to, you wake up a certain time. Normally you wake up and you go straight to the stadium after you eat. But now you wake up, you may have a walkthrough, and then you go eat pregame later on in the day. Then you go to the stadium. Like the whole process completely changes. And for these players, it's going to be a good experience for them.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, honorable mention, first division game, Atlanta, week 3 at home. Of course, we are all looking forward to that one. And like you said, TD, every single game is important. So we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up next week. We're going to be getting everyone ready for the regular season. I can't believe it's here, right around the corner.
It is. The time is now.
And you're going to be all set to go with everything here on the Huddle. We are going to be breaking all that down next week. Thank you all so much for watching along with us. Of course, thank you to head coach Dave Canales, TD, as always. So we hope that we'll see you guys next week. But until then,
it's time to keep pounding.
You've been watching the Panthers Huddle, a copyrighted presentation of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL.